journey with Tantra that pleasure is medicine. There's so much healing energy, healing properties to having orgasms, the hormones that are released, the response it has in your body, the energy that moves through your body. And so I'm excited to share and talk about this more and just empower you to realize how powerful your body is and how powerful pleasure can be. Pleasure doesn't always have to be something you do for someone else or for a lover. You can take your pleasure back for yourself and own that and empower yourselves through orgasmic pleasure. So I'm so excited to have this conversation, Kim.
Me too. I like how you say that you have the power to take your own pleasure back. And I think that is such an awesome place just to start. So, how would you guide a client, or what advice would you give to women to take power and just, I don't want to use the word control, but ownership of the pleasure that they're going to have in their life?
Such a great question. A lot of things that I teach my clients with are one is some self pleasure rituals using Tantra. So we can experience self pleasure, masturbation, and other ways, but when you actually use intention, you start using tantric techniques and breathwork practices, then you're able to expand your experience and experience full body orgasms and experience prolonged pleasure. And so, whenever I encourage my clients to take that pleasure back for themselves, it's just having time where you have like a date with yourself. So, just doing self love, mirror work, where you're saying affirmations to your body in the mirror, dancing, sensual dance is really great for moving your energy through your body. And, romance yourself and take the time with yourself and put yourself at the top of your to do list. So often we have so many things. And a lot of times as women, we can be single moms and we're also working in the workforce and caring for children. And then we have a partner, like so many different things pulling us in so many different directions. And it's so important that we first drop in and be sure that we're filling our cup up so we're not operating or trying to love or care for others when we're depleted. So just filling our cup up with self-love, with self-pleasure, and being your own best lover will help you be a better lover with someone else and experience more pleasure when you're someone else. But first you need to give that pleasure to yourself. It's so important. So having rituals for yourself with self-care, self-love, self-pleasure are key.
I love that. And with these self-care and self-pleasure rituals, do you actually have some of your clients go through a self-pleasure practice and actually learn how to please themselves?
Yes, we do. Because a lot of times people will have shame around their bodies, shame around feeling pleasure, or often, my clients will feel like pleasure is something to experience with a lover or for someone else. They'll show up more fully or more passionately with a lover. And we can all have this experience where whenever we're self pleasuring or masturbating, we know how to get from point A to point B very fast. We know how our body responds. We can just give ourselves a quickie and be like, all right, boom, boom, boom. Now I'm going to relax, go to sleep, whatever. And we don't take the time with ourselves. And if a lover was to be that fast with us, we would resent them. We would like, wow, why aren't you taking your time with me? Why aren't you slowing down? Do you not honor me? Do you not try to enjoy me? So it's so important that we slow down for ourselves and we tap into using techniques so we can stretch out and prolong those periods of pleasure for ourselves. Because again, pleasure is medicine. And then using Tantra practices to breathe that pleasure all through our bodies and through our chakras, our energy centers, and have a lot of, like Marvin Gaye sings about sexual healing. And we can give that as a beautiful gift to ourselves. And then we actually will raise our vibration. We'll be more blissful, more magnetic, more confident. And it's really great too to have an orgasm before a big meeting or anything that you're going to have to do that maybe you're nervous about, or you have to have a big, like a sales conversation or something like that. If you're in that juiciness of your orgasmic energy, then people will find you more irresistible and they won't know, why can I not say no to that person? Or they're just going to be a full yes to you just because of how you show up powerfully, owning your sexual energy, your pleasure, and being embodied and all the juiciness that you are. So often in our world, we try to dim our light or not shine so bright, or we don't want to make other people uncomfortable. But when you can show up in your full authenticity and power, that's when you can really change the world around you and impact people in a really beautiful way. And they don't have to know that you did that, but it can be, you know, your juicy secret that you keep for yourself.
I like that. And even you're saying like the sexual healing. I mean, I get some of my clients to have a self pleasure practice because it's healing in regards to, say, if you're having menstrual cramps or those migraines around that time of the month, are when we have an orgasm, we are releasing serotonin and all those feel good hormones that actually could help with our menstrual cramps and even just our mood. Like, think if any of you that are listening, if you get kind of down, depressed, some anxiety around that time of the month, you know, the week before in your luteal phase, having a self pleasure practice could actually pick up that mood and make you feel better. So there's no shame in it. There really is like just so much healing that goes into it.
Yeah, we release, you know, all kinds of great hormones and everything during self pleasure and like dopamine, the serotonin. And then the other thing is most diseases in our society are caused by stress. And whenever we're having a stress response, we're, you know, we're under constant states of stress, our cortisol levels are elevated, and orgasms helps to decrease and diminish your cortisol levels. So, you know, it's so many health benefits too if you're minimizing stress and you're letting go of tension in your body, because, you know, whenever you have an orgasm, you just feel that kind of release, and you're letting go and surrendering to that tension. And using sound and things like that during self pleasure is so great too, because sound is like a thief and it steals the tension from your body.
Thank you. So, do you get women that come to you quite often that are having difficulty having orgasms? Is that a common concern or question that you get?
Yes, yes, it definitely is, Kim. And most often the challenge with having orgasms is in partnered sex. Sometimes women are still having a challenge having orgasms with self pleasure because they may have some shame. They don't feel like they're deserving of something, and there's other things that we're working through in that process. Or, you know, they just deny things for themselves. They're not having that feeling worthy. So we go into some of that worthiness of like, I am worthy, and mirror work and things like that that's helpful. But there's so often females are able, and when I say females, I'm speaking on anatomically female, they're able to have an, an orgasm with self pleasure, but not able to do that during partnered sex. And so there's a lot of pressure on females, you know, to be performative during sex. And I think we need to let go of that and even not always have orgasm as the goal. Like, how can we share intimacy? How can we experience prolonged pleasure in those moments with someone, and then and take the pressure off of having an orgasm, right? And then be able to relax into it. And when you're able to use certain tools like with your breath work, with breathing techniques, relaxation techniques, and other techniques that I teach my tantra clients with white tantra practices like meditation, because again, your brain is your largest sex organ. So when you start to have a meditative practice, those things will enhance and strengthen the orgasms that you have. And then we can also guide, and I can teach techniques to help you to have an orgasm with your partner, or just to reframe, you know, how you can do that with a partner. Like, share with them the things that turn you on. So often in the bedroom, in the past, males will be intimidated by certain sex toys that females own, and instead of thinking it's something you're competing with, because you're not, use it as an enhancement. Use it as an additional toy in the toy box, as something you can explore to experience more pleasure together and prolong that pleasure.
And just to change it up a little bit, keep things exciting.
Yeah, keep it spicy.
Um,
Yeah.
so we got the breath work. We have, you know, using toys and moving through the stuff. Another thing I tend to hear, and I'm curious if you get it as well, is just general women, we have a hard time receiving.
That's exactly it.
Like, we're givers, you know, we're nurturers, we have our children, you know, even in the workforce, you know, we tend to give a little bit more. And when it comes to in the bedroom, it's just like we can't just sit back and receive. I actually had a conversation with someone about this recently. She's like, I could please myself all day, but when it comes to my husband, he can't give me an orgasm. And she's like, because I'm worried about him.
Yes. So that ability to receive and feeling like you're worthy and deserving of pleasure, and not feeling like it's so performative. You know, sometimes I have clients where they're so concerned about, how do I look during this? Because when we've seen porn and we've been kind of brainwashed with porn, we're thinking that we have to look just a certain way, and how is our body positioned, being self-conscious about certain things like, is my belly showing a little more right here, or is this not a flattering position? Trust me, when your partner is, you know, turned on and aroused, that is the last thing that they're worried about. They're just in their minds, just enjoying all the sensations that they're experiencing, and they're not there to be judge or criticize you. And also, remember a time when you've been with your a partner, like if they had a pimple or something like that, is that really what you're focusing on in that moment? That's not what you're thinking about. You're just there being with them in the moment and thinking how great everything is feeling for you and the connection you're having with them. So dropping those unrealistic expectations and stop making sex so performative, and then feeling like, oh, this is something I'm doing for them, and it sex needs to be something that you're doing to share intimacy between both of you. And sex can also sometimes be like, you can change things up. Like this week, let's do something, and it's going to be, I'm an honoring of you. Like in Tantra, we have like the goddess or the god worship, like you honor the goddess within your lover, or the god, the divine within your partner. And you can be like, I'm going to do um, a worship exercise on you, on rituals, and we're going to really focus on you and do pleasure mapping and all these amazing things, and share with me what you would like more of. Or afterwards, go, look, what would you like to experience more of? And then on another night, it's all going to be about me. I am the goddess. And then you're just like, I'm here to do everything and share and express what turns me on, what feels good, and have no shame about it. And then just receive, 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 and allow myself to be quote unquote selfish, like, you know what I mean? But to really be able to empower myself to experience pleasure. And when we let go of not feeling worthy, not being able to receive, or we let go of thinking sex is something we're just supposed to do for our partners, and we know, hey, we deserve pleasure too. Pleasure is our birthright. Then we can experience heightened states of pleasure and bliss with our lovers. But just letting go of the performative aspect is so freeing.
I like that. And you know what I'm going to comment to that is I think back to when I was doing your program and you had us do the assignment. It was our own pleasure practice in front of the mirror.
Yes.
And I'm sure women are cringing right now as I say this, but you get to see the angle of what your man's seeing you. And it is a whole other world for real, and so freaking sexy.
Yes.
Like
Yes.
it blew my mind. I was like, wow. And it actually made me just appreciate myself even that much more. I felt more sexy, and it does take that performance perspective out, and you're just like, this is what my man sees.
Yeah. And this is amazing. Yeah. You being in like that goddess energy. Because when you're turned on and aroused, and you're really feeling yourself, and you're feeling into that bliss and so much pleasure, it's so freeing and it's really beautiful. And then a lot of times females will also not want to make sounds because they're worried about, someone hearing them, or they're worried, you know they're self-conscious with using sound. But again, sound is like a thief, and it steals tension from your body. And sound will actually, when you let go of that tension and you use sound, it can help you to be more orgasmic. And males, they love hearing the sounds of when they're pleasing us and hearing that. So they love to see us in our turn on. They love to hear us in our turn on. They love to feel us in our turn on. So the more you give yourself permission to turn yourself all the way on, and that they're enjoying that even more, being in to be able to witness your amazingness when you're fully lit up in pleasure. So the more you allow yourself to feel pleasure, that's when you're going to look the most radiant and sexy to your partner. Not when you're holding yourself back and then you're thinking about something you've seen in porn, and you're being self-conscious, and you're playing small, and you're too concerned, and you're shutting yourself down, and you're not saying too much, and you're not making any noise. You know, that's we're cheating ourselves and our partners, whenever we don't fully show up for ourselves. So show up and express your sensuality, your sexuality, and let go of any shame about it, because you're not wrong. And our bodies are wired to experience pleasure. Pleasure is your birthright. We were born from sexual energy. We are created from sexual energy. There should be no shame in that. And for females, we're the only ones that have an organ that's solely, the sole purpose is for pleasure. The clitoris has no other function other than to give us pleasure. It has over 8,000 nerve endings. So you're literally created and wired to experience immense pleasure. So enjoy that. And there's a reason that our bodies are built that way. So don't, it's not for us to have shame. So yeah, just embrace that.
I have like so much that I could like add on to that and just bring
Please do.
the fact that you just where you ended off like talking about the clitoris. And I think a lot of women kind of maybe forget that that is such an important area to give us orgasms, and men aren't even aware of it. So it's like, you know, it's just through penetration, and then women are wondering like, why am I not having orgasms? So, you know, just even more tips in regards to that, or any thoughts of what you on that. And
Yes, well, the clitoris gives us so many amazing orgasms, and it's innervated. And I show the anatomy. Like if you look at the clitoris, then there's the legs of the clitoris that go down by the labia, and then it's even innervated up into the vagina. Which a lot of times they feel like even the G spot orgasm is still wired in through the clitoral nervous system, like where the nerve endings are. It's just going up into the vagina as well. And so do have a master class that's about the female orgasm master class. And there I share like the 12 different types of orgasms that women can have and tips on how they can enhance that and have more orgasms. So we can probably share that here if you don't mind, like a little link to that. So if people want to discover all the different types of orgasms people can have.
I'll put
But
it in the show notes. And I've
yeah,
sat in on that master class, and it is amazing. So yes,
thank you.
definitely check it out, ladies.
Thank you so much. So one of the things though to experience more orgasm is sometimes I'll even have clients who will say they're self-conscious to touch themselves or stimulate their clitoris when they're with their partner because if they, you know, there's sometimes the male or they may either be concerned or some males are like, oh, their ego can come in and be like, oh, I've got this. Like, you don't need to touch yourself. I'm going to give you all the pleasure. No, like you know your body better than anyone else. And if you need to give yourself a hand, by all means do. And even sometimes doing something like if you're doing something in doggy style, and then you can reach around to the front and give yourself pleasure and stimulate yourself. Um, those are also really amazing things that you can do. And you can even do something where, like, if you have like some coconut oil or something on your fingers, you could even put your fingers, like, let's say it's doggy style, you could kind of put your fingers and have it rubbing on your clit, and then your fingers like this going back and kind of squeeze and give him, like, as his penis is going in and out, give it an extra little squeeze or tension there as he's going out. So he's benefiting from feeling that extra massage and sensation. And then you can actually be there doing things for yourself too. So there's a lot of ways you can play around with it and just let your lover know, hey, adding the hands in can be really amazing for both of us. And just go in and know your body. So don't have shame about that. And if you also do something with your partner where it's like a mutual masturbation, or you watch them masturbate and ask them what things feel really good for them and they watch you masturbate, you can learn so much. And you know, even for males, when you give a male oral sex, there's different places on their penis that will have more sensation than others. And for some men, this place is a little better than that place. Communicate. Everyone is different. It's like we're like little snowflakes in a way, right? So communication is key. And when you have that understanding, then you're like, oh, and you can be creative with it and go, oh, this like really feels good for them. And the other thing is, like, number one thing, don't fake your orgasms, because then your partner is getting a mixed signal and they're going to think, oh, that my partner, oh, they really love that. That had her have an orgasm. I need to do that again. No, you don't want them doing more of things that don't bring you an orgasm. So you're cheating yourself and your lover when you miscommunicate that. So, you know, it's not about their ego. It's just about being authentic and with your pleasure. And then even doing things afterwards. Like afterwards, sometimes when I have sex with a lover, females can have nipple gasms. So I might just be straddling him and he might not be fully erect inside me, or I have his penis like next to my vulva, you know, and I'm just sitting there, and then I allow him to suck on my nipples, or I ask him to suck on my nipples and doing that, and then I have like a nipple gasm afterwards. So it doesn't just have to stop just when the male stops. You can encourage and be sexy and be like, oh, here, please do this, and guide them on the things that will bring you more pleasure.
Mm-hmm. And how did, like, even from your own personal experience, you're so confident in like expressing what you want and your needs and just being open to trying new things. Like, what got you to that place, and I'm sure it's taken you some time, but you've been
Yeah,
doing.
it did take me a time. And my first lover was when I was 15, and he was 19, and I was with him for 4 years, and I had a baby, and I never had an orgasm. And I thought I was frigid. I was like, "Oh, I guess I'm one of those women that are frigid." No, I just didn't understand enough about my body, and he didn't understand enough to be able to help me to have an orgasm. And after that relationship, the next person I was with, I discovered some things that helped me. And I realized I'm multi-orgasmic, even before Tantra. Tantra enhanced the orgasms. But I think there's a part also, I'm a Scorpio, born on Halloween. So there's just a part of me that was like, finally, after waiting so long and having all these experiences, and I enjoyed sex, but I wasn't having the full pleasure. And then when I did, like, it meant more for me the first time I was with a lover that gave me an orgasm than the first time I lost my virginity, which is a whole other conversation. It's not a loss. But anyway, that first experience, the first experience having an orgasm, that's the memorable experience that I'm so thankful for. And I just realized, you know what? I just need to communicate, because I'm not going to just sit here and be intimate with someone and not have my needs met. I'm not here just to service you. Like, if it's not a mutual pleasure and we're not mutually showing up for one another, I could leave. I could go home. I could just stay at home and do this way better myself then, and not have to shave my legs and get dolled up and do all the things, right? Like, it's just like,
Your work.
yeah. So it's just like, yeah. So if I'm showing up fully for you, like, I need you to show up fully for me. And if not, it's not showing up to put pressure, because I have so much respect for males. I work with male clients, and I teach my male clients how to separate their orgasm from their ejaculation, so they can be multi-orgasmic, have stamina for hours, help them overcome erectile dysfunction, premature ejaculation, all of those things. And I really love supporting men on this journey. But and I think as a whole, men are really amazing, but there's just a few men that their ego is there, and they feel like just sex is just something for them, or they won't fully show up, or they're so ego based, or they watch so much porn and they've been brainwashed with porn that they're just doing it from that way of what they've seen in porn, and they don't really understand how to give women pleasure. They don't know how amazing they can be. Because I love this one poem that I came across by Alana Louise May called "Conscious Cock is Medicine," and it's so true. There's so much healing when males can tap into the power of what we can experience, when as they can give enough pleasure to us, where we have prolonged states of ecstatic bliss. That's where you get into like the Marvin Gaye sexual healing, and all new levels of how pleasure can be medicine.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for sharing your story.
Oh, thanks for asking,
It's
Kim.
like
Always happy to share.
oh, I know you're always like open to share, and that's why I wanted you to share, because I know you have just, it is very empowering, and I like that you even highlighted that, it's having sex is to empower both of you, and to that, you want that pleasure as well. So ladies, like, really be a little selfish and think of yourself. It's not just for your partner or for your lover, or even if it's just a one night stand that you're having, still speak up, because you're in this with this partner. So make sure you're getting some of the pleasure as well.
Yeah, you deserve it. You deserve to experience so much pleasure.
We probably should have talked about this at the beginning, but we've talked about Tantra a little bit. Do you just want to describe? Because I know in Western society, everyone right away thinks Tantra is just sex. And I know
Yeah.
you've been sprinkling bits and pieces about it throughout already, but I think just to like give a little bit of a definition or explanation of what it is.
Yes. So Tantra it comes from India, and it's a Sanskrit word which means also a looming or a weaving or even expanding. So initially, these practices were not even to be used by women. They were just used by men to expand their consciousness. So men that would meditate a lot, they were trying to reach really high states of enlightenment, would tap into the sexual energy and use that with breathwork practices and things like that to open up their third eye and their crown chakra, and to really be, you know, highly enlightened and expand their consciousness. So the Tantra tools initially were just, they're tools for transformation, but to work on your chakras, your energy centers. There's meditation, there's breath work. And once you're able to have this intimacy and this healing within the energy centers, and you can see in this photo back behind me, I'm showing the chakras there. Whenever you're able to open up these chakras and we have energy stuck, and you're able to have the energy flowing more freely through you, you're able to open up your heart chakra and do healing and a lot of self love. and then you're able to have this deep intimacy within yourself. The byproduct of that is that you become a better lover and you're able to have better sex, because the more intimate we're able to go into ourselves and be present with ourselves and understand these energies in our bodies, then we're able to be more sensitive to that within a lover, and we're able to experience more intimacy and connection and drop the masks, drop the walls, drop the fears, and operate more from a space of love instead of fear in our life and in our relationships and in the bedroom. And it changes everything. So yes, Tantra really changed my life. So I'm very passionate about sharing about
I love your story of how it changed your life.
it. Yeah, that's an interesting one.
And I think it's good you actually explained it now, because it wraps up everything that really we've been talking about today. Just
Yes.
elevating and the self-love and connecting with your body, connecting with your partner. So it's just bringing it all together. I did your group program, the OM Method. Are you launching that again soon, or do you have any offers that are coming up?
Oh, thank you for asking. I actually have a wait list for the OM method, which is the Orgasmic Magic Manifestation Method. And I loved having you be a part of that. So there is a wait list right now. I don't know that I'll open it again this year. And I am putting together an introduction to Tantra course. I'm creating that right now. And it's just a 6 week course for both singles, couples, males and females, to understand Tantra and help unlock certain things for themselves, and so they can experience more pleasure and passion in their lives and deep healing. And so that's going to be something that will be happening soon. And then hopefully later, when that's available, I'll share a link for that here so people can check that out. So, and then I do one-to-one coaching.
Okay. Well, I'll put your Instagram and
Sounds
your
great.
website in the show notes, along with your
Awesome.
class. Like
Thank you.
I already said, ladies, check it out. Even men, if you're listening to this, check it out. You're going to learn something.
Awesome. Yes, and I have a free resource too for your male listeners and your female listeners, a free audio guide on how to have better orgasms for females, and then a male stamina guide for males to give them some guidance. So we can also give them those free guides too.
Great.
Okay.
It's all going to be in the bottom.
Yes.
And do you have any last final thoughts, tips, words of wisdom, anything?
Allow yourself to connect so powerfully within your body and let go of shame, let go of expectation, let go of fear, and really take that time to love and appreciate yourself and your body. So often in growing up in our society, we've had these negative voices in the subconscious mind of feed into our fears or into doubt or playing small or making us feel like we're not worthy of love. But you are whole, complete, and amazing as you are. You don't need to be fixed. You're an amazing being, and your body is here and can experience immense states of pleasure. And if you start using self pleasure as something you use with an intention, holding that intention, and as a self love practice, as a self love ritual, and you really connect within yourself, just take the time. My invitation is to take the time with that and see what that opens up and unlocks for you. Pleasure is your birthright. Claim it.
I mean, I could say after working with you, I know I've shared this, I think in a testimonial or something, but I was going through a breakup, which wasn't good. And I could have easily gone down a bad path, maybe even depression. But just through these techniques that Dom talks about and what's in her program, I healed in like 3 months. Like I felt like, and I'm more in power now. Like I just don't give a shit. And because
isn't that amazing?
Yeah, and it is amazing. And it's not in an ignorant way, like I don't care about you. It's like I'm okay to serve myself, and this is what I need. And then of course it also translates into the bedroom. Like I'm okay with being like, this is what I desire right now, and I'm comfortable and I don't feel awkward about asking for it. Like it just really is empowering. So for anyone listening, I definitely encourage you just to explore Tantra. If you have any questions, definitely reach out to Dom and check out her courses.
Yes, thank you so much. The thing is, everything touches everything. And so how you show up in the bedroom is how you show up in the boardroom, how you show up in the world. So when you can fully show up in this empowered place and know that and reclaim your power, embody your power, and be like, I am here, I am unstoppable. I am a force of like love and pleasure and the good vibes and all the yumminess. And I allow myself to feel that. And so because I can feel it within my body, I'm able to radiate it out into the world. And then we're like magnets, right? And you can be that magnet for manifestation to attract to you the things that you want, because like attracts like. So if you want a higher elevated state of experiences, you want to experience more and more elevated life experiences and opportunities and lovers, you need to raise your vibration to be a match for what you're wanting, to call it in. Like attracts like. So these are tools to help you elevate your vibration, and pleasure is a very high vibration feeling. So definitely tap into that, because there's so much magic there that you can unpack.
I like that you bring that up, because I mean, it could turn into a whole other topic, but like the fact that everything connects up to everything and translates to work, relationships, whether it's with a partner or friends, our female hormonal system, and not just our bleed, but our whole cycle is actually connected to this as well. So as you connect to your body more, and during ovulation, for example, women, you probably feel maybe a little bit more horny, you want to have more sex. And that is the time to host those big meetings. And if you have that self-pleasure practice, when your hormones are elevated like that, you are going to walk in there like on fire, that the men aren't even going to know what to do, especially if you're in a male dominant career, like maybe law or even medicine. We both worked in medicine.
Yes.
And yeah, there's
Yes.
female nurses, but a lot of the doctors are males. And I've been encountered that they kind of look down on you. But when you are in your power, you show up and you could really express your voice and watch how things change. That's when you go ask for your raise.
Yeah, command that respect.
Yeah,
definitely. I love that.
Well, thank you so much for joining me. I definitely will be
Such a pleasure.
because I know we have a lot more to talk about.
Most definitely.
Yeah, so ladies, like I said, be sure to check Dom out, and I will catch you on our next episode.
All right, I look forward to it. I look forward to listening, and thanks everyone. It's been a pleasure being here. Blessings.
Thank you.